I lost an hour and a half of time.
That's a lot of time to lose.
Because I couldn't see. And the next thing I knew, I took a right turn and I was right in front of my place in Denver. If she had said it was around Area 51, I would say aliens pop into mind. Or
It seems like teleportation in some form.
So the question is, do we believe in teleportation?
Good morning, everyone, at least from our side, whatever time it is over there. Good evening as well.
We do cover a fairly large audience, so yes, welcome to the Munch Corner.
Munch Corner. Happy New Year as well.
Happy New Year. We're entering a brand new year and lots of new things that are going to happen. Savannah and I have planned quite a bit. So we are very much looking forward to a full year with you and getting to get some things that will actually be fun.
What tea do we have today?
So first of all, we have frog mugs today.
We have frog mugs and mushrooms.
So this is another brand new August tea blend. And it is a combination of burnt banana and
I was just about to say something.
Notes.
It's like a burnt taste. Very nice.
Yeah, it's a really wonderful blend. So it's Savannah was trying to play the guessing game earlier, but we figured we'd just release it out early and she could see everything.
Well, it's perfect for the episode that we have today. So what are we doing today?
Today we are going to look at 5 stories, and each of those are going to be a bit more of the unexplained, as well as slips in time. Okay. So this is kind of our favorite topics that we are very interested in, what's unusual and a bit strange out there. And so here we are now, going to get started. And today I'm going to be your narrator. So let's start with story number 1.
Okay.
So this one is called Glitch Cleaning Out My Garage. So all of us should have this problem, right? I was alone in our house, cleaning out our garage and looking through a tub of old stuff. I found a journal of mine from when I was little. Those are little treasures to find sometimes.
Oh, I never held on to any of mine.
I've got some of my really young kid stuff that's actually kind of fun to dig through. Occasionally, it's like going back in time, but not literally in this case. Around the same age as my daughter is now. It was a very distinctive babysitter club guided journal. I'm going to guess our author is probably a woman in this case, the babysitter club. I read a few pages, then I took it upstairs to my daughter's room and set it on her bookshelf so we could read it together later that night because I thought she would get a kick out of it. I think she probably would.
That's nice.
I was very intentional about where I placed it, so I would see it when I went up to read that night. So she has this wonderful habit that we want to have with our little kids, which is reading in the evening time. I then went back down to the garage and kept cleaning. I started going through the same tub, taking out a few books, then to find the same journal again.
Oh, goodness gracious.
Okay, so that's where we're seeing a little glitch here. At first, I thought it might be a duplicate, but then I looked at the first few pages, and it was the same drawings and the same journal responses. I went back upstairs to my daughter's bookcase, and it wasn't there anymore. I have no explanation. I'm not sure I do.
I have absolutely no clue. What?
So either she completely forgot that she actually brought it upstairs, which doesn't sound like she did.
No, it sounds like she's pretty sure she did.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure she did too. It's actually kind of interesting to see memory. So memory is a really finicky little thing sometimes. I don't really have an explanation other than you might be so caught up in thinking that you actually did something you didn't do because it was so much in your thoughts. Well, the other choice is...
So she probably just didn't put up the first time, is what you're saying.
I'm saying that's a possibility. I mean, I'm not going to try to read too much, and we're not there, but I do find this an interesting one because it's such an ordinary and little mundane task, right?
It's interesting as well because the journal itself comes from the past, and it obviously holds... It's a diary, right? It holds, I don't know, secrets of whatever.
The babysitter club had. Well, at the time, yes.
At the age of about 10, 11. So I don't know. Maybe it's a special journal. I'll give it the benefit of the doubt.
I will definitely say it's a special journal. I think it's going to be wonderful for her to share it with her daughter. How it moves around, I don't know.
Maybe it will keep moving.
Oh, well, that's a possibility too. Well, we do have one of the comments here, so let's see what they say. So, yes, I'd like to think it was future me pointing out the importance of a decision I made by remaking the decision again. It's like re-solidifying what I had already debated about, kind of like a confirmation. That's an interesting way of looking at it. So,
so it was thinking about it, and then
I think this reader probably feels that this one was much more about, I really intensely thought about this, the sharing, being able to be with my daughter in this experience, and it sort of got re-emphasized.
Yes, well, it's also like she lived the moment of putting it in the room twice, but she actually only did it once. One in her mind and one in actual physical form.
So are we basically coming to an agreement that says that this one is really a very intense emotion, and she thought about it as she was doing her garage cleaning, and it just became a very, very heightened feeling?
Big possibility, yes.
Well,
or it could really have been just a journal hopping around the house. Or,
okay,
or she has someone there messing with her and moving the journal around.
Okay, now I could see the prankster part, because that would bring out the part in me that I would do something like that. This is a little bit of a tough one, because you really believe the person's feelings, and normally it's not like
memory is finicky. She probably really just thought she had done it, but she did not yet.
Well, I definitely like the fact that she noticed the experience and that she's really able to jump into it. And embrace it. So she has an open mind, which is great, and she obviously will pass that on to her daughter. So that's a very nice one. It's a great one to start with. All right, everyone ready for number 2? Here we go. I lost an hour and a half of time.
That's a lot of time to lose.
It is.
Less sleep for you. I'm sorry.
Well, we do that every year at daylight savings time, right?
Oh my gosh, yes.
That's
the daylight savings.
One of our least favorite things that I think
I don't think this is daylight savings in this case.
No. Not with an hour and a half. It certainly isn't.
Okay.
So a few years ago, I was driving home to Denver from my sister's house 2 hours away. I had to work at 6 a.m. and I left my sister's house at 10 p.m., way later than I meant to leave. So I should have gotten home around midnight. So it's funny, she's doing all the calculations here as to what should have happened. Yes. Okay. I got my 2 kids in the car and started to drive north on the I-25 to Denver. A drive I've done a bunch of times and constantly still drive. Welcome to the driving club that we all seem to face in some of the bigger states out there. It takes about 30 minutes to get to Colorado Springs and Pueblo. And I looked down a quick second to check on the time, which was exactly 10:30 p.m. So I looked up to see a blinding light, white and yellow color, in my rearview mirror, and I squinted my eyes because I couldn't see. And the next thing I knew, I took a right turn and I was right in front of my place in Denver.
What was the time?
She looked at the clock, and it was 10:30. She was getting to Pueblo, which is kind of one of her marks along her way. She saw a blinding light in her rearview mirror, and when she looked back away, she was at her house.
But she was only supposed to get there at midnight.
Right.
So she got there an hour and a half earlier. Is that the story?
It's not the end of the story.
Oh, okay.
So I don't remember driving past Colorado Springs or the rest of the way home. I was shaking and scared, and I looked at my cell phone, and it said, and it was supposed to say 10:30 p.m. on my way home. So I did look at the car radio. My daughter was like, Mommy, how are we home already? So now she's sharing this experience with her daughter. That was the first, that was the fastest, she said. I called my sister freaking out and asked her what time it was when I left. And she was like, you seriously left my house 30 minutes ago. Wow. So it was 10:33 p.m. She was like, quit messing with me. There's no way you made the 2-hour drive in 30 minutes. I'm still so confused about this glitch. And my gas tank is still full, but I should have been almost empty. I try not to drive late on the I-25 anymore. This is crazy what happened. And a few more times, it's happened a few more times since. I can't figure this out. has anyone else driving the I-25 in Colorado seen this happen to you? So she's asking a question out to the world. So not only did it happen more than once, it was a shared experience with her daughter.
It's like she teleported.
Well, that's exactly that's happening, right? And she saw the blinding light. So this is kind of like the clue. She's had a little bit of a confirmation by calling her sister, but she's sitting in front of her house.
Yeah, but
and
the
it's
child
happened
as well.
More than once.
Amazing.
Okay, so I've not driven the I-25 in Colorado to see what that's like, but I'm going to assume that it's probably a pretty open stretch of highway that probably is not covered by cities like we are in Southern California. I mean, for us, it's like we can't tell when you start or stop a city. It's just keep driving. So over there, and Colorado's a little more sparsely populated, so she's reaching these areas. Now, if she had said it was around Area 51, I would say aliens pop into mind, or other things that would be very much like that. But this is a very interesting one.
So do you think it's probably the stretch she was driving on?
Okay, so let's think about how we can get into the zone, right? So I think I've been in that place before, and I think a lot of drivers have. You go into a routine, you drive a certain thing, the path you always take, it's like this is automatic. So your mind is now working on other things. And then time passes very differently for you.
Not an hour and a half.
Well, this is the whole thing. I mean, the hour and a half is not what gets me as much. I think what gets me about the story, which I really love, is the fact that, well, her daughter is not experiencing the same thing. There's not this mutual daze that, you glitch out.
Well, the sister as well. It's like, stop joking with me. You couldn't have driven 2 hours in half an hour.
Right. I mean, so you have this validation. And then she does the one thing that I would probably automatically do. I look at my gas tank and it's like, it should be empty, because you know how much gas it takes to go for that distance for the drive. And I would know that as well. So it's like you start looking for all these clues around when something like this happened. So
I swear she must have driven through what's almost like what is it called? Like a parallel
universe?
No, like a zone change.
Well,
I don't know.
It's the idea of, is there some kind of like a little wormhole that she went through?
Yes,
and she was teleported. I mean, you hit on the idea of like, was she somehow teleported?
Well, she saw a light before. I don't know what the light would have been.
Well, that's just it. They don't say. She describes it as a blinding light. I mean, so clearly something hit her in her rearview mirror and she couldn't see, and then it was gone. And then when she looked back, and I've had that too. I mean, it's like having somebody with their high beam right directly behind you. But this, it seems to me, would be much brighter from what you discussed.
Wow. It seems like teleportation in some form.
So the question is, do we believe in teleportation?
I mean, I think some people won't necessarily believe in that term, but a wormhole for sure is very much, if you want to look at it from a scientific point of view, wormholes exist. And it doesn't mean...
Look at you being very adamant about this.
No. We don't know where they all are. That's the thing. And what causes them to appear. Because they're not always, they're forever moving.
Yeah, I think this is the interesting thing about science that so for me, being an engineer, there's a lot of the science that comes into like looking at facts and how this would come through. And this, the writer here really is a very detailed person. You can already see that she's kind of looking at all the details as she's trying to understand this herself. And then she's reaching out to say, has anyone else experienced this? So there were some responses back, but none of them talk about, hey, yes, I've experienced that as well. So this is an interesting one. So it might be tied uniquely to her and uniquely to that road. But what I was trying to say is that in general, if you go back in time, science, which I think was the great enlightening that we had seen through our history, was supposed to explain our natural world. And things that were not explainable were usually attributed to pretty much to faith at that point. Right. So, and I think the further back in time you go, the more the faith component comes in, and it's outside of your realm, for us.
It's also referred to, it's like, it's a theory. if there's not necessarily a factual things tied to it.
Yeah, and very much so. I mean, there isn't. We don't even have a theory if you think about it. I mean, we've talked about teleportation as an option or a wormhole, but those are a couple things. What I'm just basically saying is that as we go through time, we're explaining more and more with science. We seem to have also forgotten there's more that we just don't understand. So we're it's like turning around and saying we are the only sentient beings, in this whole universe, other than maybe some people who believe in aliens, and I'm not
extraterrestrial beings.
Beings.
It doesn't necessarily have to be alien. I guess.
Right. Well, I mean, alien it has unfortunately this context that we've commercialized, right? Yes. I mean, with aliens, but the extraterrestrial beings, and there's a lot more out there that we don't know, right? So we're left with these unexplained things that may be more explainable sometime in the future. We just don't know. But she, I think, is experiencing a phenomenon, but it seems to be a reoccurring one for her. So it's happened more than once. I do love this story. I think it's
very unique. It's very unique.
Yeah, I think the first time would really, probably freak me out a little bit, just like her. But I think
the next time it happens again, okay, I'll take it. It's fine.
Well, no one's going to turn down a better commute, right? I mean, but I do think the first shock goes through, and then the second time, it's the curiosity is there, and I think she has that. So she's trying to figure this one out. So it's. This is a very interesting one. So for those of you out there, if you've experienced like a time lapse like this, and not in the sense that you sort of like zoned out and, the freeway was there and then you showed up.
No, this is like a big
So you literally are arriving at the time you were supposed to arrive, and, your gas tank looks the way it is and everything else. However, your mind went somewhere else. That's not what we're talking about here. But if you truly experience this, we would love to see some comments and have
especially
a few more stories.
If you've driven the what is it?
The I-25.
I-25 in Colorado.
There might be something in Colorado that is special about this area. I mean, this is where we don't have as much information. But
we'll hear from our viewers.
That would be kind of fun to kind of check out. So I like this one. This was actually very interesting. The first one was very nice too, but it was different. I mean, you could kind of do it. Now, here's our third one. We're going to love the title on this one. For those of you who have companions out there that are the furry kind, my dog and I both experienced a glitch today. So imagine sharing that with the dog.
I wonder how the dog's sharing it with him.
Well, let's find out. Okay. My wife wasn't expecting to be home any earlier than 1800. Okay, so I was using a bit military time or European time. So when she pulled into the driveway at 17:30, because this is 5:30, in the evening time, my dog and I were both surprised. At first, the dog did her usual happy dance that Mama was home, then suddenly froze and barked. Okay. Dogs are very intuitive. They don't think obviously the way we do, but I saw her work van come up the driveway. Then I saw her go to the mailbox, then started walking up the door through the slit of the blinds. But she never made it to the door. I checked the camera, nothing there. No record of the event. I texted my wife. She was still about 45 minutes away.
Oh, gosh.
When she got home, my dog again reacted with her happy dance, but didn't freeze and bark this time.
Because she's actually home.
I once again saw the van pull up, my wife go to the mailbox, and her walking to the door. Only this time, she walked in the door. Deja vu or glitch in the matrix? Well, this is fascinating because it's actually shared with the dog.
Yes, the dog froze. That's a very big telltale sign that the dog was very present with him.
All right,
and dogs are very sensitive.
So we as humans, I think as we grow up, not like little kids, we start trying to create a framework around our world, right? I mean, so we will tell you this isn't possible. Ghosts don't exist, or you can't teleport.
Because it's an extreme.
It's an extreme thing, and I think we're taught socially that these things just don't occur, right? So and it's reinforced again and again through our education. But if you're looking at some of the incredible visionaries like Stephen Hawking out there, who looks at the science of space and time travel, Einstein. I mean, take your pick. These people never gave up that side of themselves. They opened their minds to what could be out there. And I think there's also some incredible spiritual people that will also do the same thing. So you're going to find there's a small subset of people that will turn around and say, there is a possibility of something very different. But the ordinary person doesn't do that. Dogs, on the other hand, are not taught to tell.
No, they are probably as honest as what they come.
I mean, remember we talked the story about Prin that would bark at the ghost of one of the other dogs that we had that passed away. And I knew it was the case. And even Prin was barking. So this is me being probably a bit more open. But they're unfiltered. I mean, they're probably like kids in many ways that never grow up, which I think makes them very genuinely interesting companions in this glitch. So this one's fascinating. I actually love that this happened this way. But we have a couple comments here. So this one, so the person who responded says it's a Vardoger.
Vardoger.
Okay.
Or Vardoger.
Yeah,
okay,
so it's basically a spirit that shows up right before the arrival of someone. It looks like them. It mimics their arrival, down to specific actions a person would take. In this case, checking the mailbox or going to the door. Then it disappears right before the person would actually enter the place. Pretty neat. So there's
is it? Well, I don't know. I don't think that's pretty neat.
I think there's definitely the curiosity. So this is actually, we did a little checking. So we had to make sure we understood, I think, with the comment, at least the word, because we didn't read these things before.
I would be freaked out if I saw something like that with you.
Would you be freaked out if you heard me drive up? And
sure as heck I would.
The garage door would open up. Then you'd look and nothing came through the door.
And then the door never unlocked. Oh my gosh, I would be freaked. I'd have both the kids and I locked in a room and calling you right away.
Now, the question is, what would you do with the dogs?
Keep the dog with me.
This harks to a little story that we had before about somebody who had what could have been a friendly ghost in one of our past episodes that decided that they locked the dogs up. It's like, you don't lock the dogs up.
That's the wrong move.
Yeah, so that's the wrong move. This one's very interesting. I'm going to, now that we've read this a little bit, and we didn't want to get into the story too much because we wanted to share it with you first, but now I'm very curious. So this is, again, tied into Norse mythology. We ended up looking up the word so we could, one, pronounce it hopefully correctly, but at the same time understand a little bit of where it came from. And then we stopped because we didn't want to that. So we didn't read the story in this whole time. So we wanted to share this with you. But can you imagine that? I mean, so now I'm intensely curious about this projection that happens and where this actually comes from. Norse mythology is actually fascinating, and we don't give it enough credit. Do you know that every day of the week, literally, we are using parts of Norse mythology in the naming of the week? I mean, it's very interesting that we would have, like Saturday comes from Saturn, so this is a very different way of naming things. Monday, Tuesday, I mean, these are all tied to kind of this history that comes in with a lot of Norse mythology. Thursday, I mean, it's like, that's where it comes from.
What do you think of the Vertigo then?
Well, I'm going to want to look it up, but I don't discount it. The reason I don't is because even though we sometimes look and say, hey, that was back then, that's like 2,000 years ago, that's 1,500 years ago. Those people back then, they were superstitious and everything else. But in the base of every myth out there, there's some basis of truth, a basis of reality that's occurring. Now, you may not be able to explain it. And in this case, I don't think there's necessarily a way to explain it. But I do know for sure that there are certain things that we have turned around and said, in our enlightenment, it just doesn't exist. And I think if we take a few moments and realize we're living in a world that it does exist. So one thing I'd love to share is if you have an interest in these sorts of things, take an adventure out there. This is someplace that I want Savannah and I to experience. So one of the most magical places that I really love is Scotland, but it's not just Scotland because of the cities and everything else. It's Scotland because of basically its connection to nature and its myth and everything else. This is why it's so fascinating to me. But I do want to go with Savannah, for example, to the fairy pools. And so when you think about going to a very lonely place, so in other words, very sparsely populated, very few people, you start removing these layers of noise that we have. And I don't mean it literally as noise, but it is literally noise too. But it's the idea of having, you're always surrounded by lights. We don't really see the night sky. The sounds of, I mean, even here when we're at night and it's fairly quiet, you can still hear things. You hear the freeway way back in the distance. It's not right around the corner.
It's almost by quieting the rest of the world, the chances
you
of
get a chance to start seeing some of these things. And why this person saw the Varduga, I don't know, but there might be something interesting to ask them. This is where we sit on the other side of this, where we're very interested in this. I'd love to go.
We're definitely learning, I think, a little bit more of these things. We've heard about mimics, Vardogers, and
I mean, there's so many
things.
Doppelgangers
like
out there. I mean, Savannah thought she saw a doppelganger of me driving on the freeway.
That was
highly amusing. Of course,
Omar's driving.
Of course,
Omar's driving the car, and I'm in the passenger seat. We're on the freeway, and I'm glancing over at the cars, and I tend to keep an eye on the road as well as he's driving. So then I look at people if they're focusing on the road, if we drive past a car. And this car to the right of us, we drive past it, and I'm staring at Omar, and I'm staring at this other person in the car, and they're identical. And I'm almost kind of like making sure Omar is obviously next to me, but I'm checking this person
out. In the Matrix, I wasn't. I projected over the other
This person, their side profile looked identical. It's like, my husband is right next to me. I don't know who's in that car, but he is not in there. And it's like, yeah, it happens. There's people out there that look like us.
And there's a whole bunch of studies out there for those of you who have an interest in doppelgangers, which is interesting tie into this. But
I think there's actually a documentary out there.
Yeah,
that they found people from across the world from each other
that never knew each other, were never in the same area, but
and they do genetic testing
and they share compare them, and they share the same habits.
I'll see if I can find the documentary,
and
if I can find it, I'll put in the description for people who are interested.
The other thing we should do is we should also look up a little bit of that Norse mythology and see if we can maybe provide some kind of a link to some information. We'll
make sure we do extra homework afterwards so we can actually enlighten everyone else as we're getting enlightened as well.
Yeah, but this is so intriguing to me. And I mean, it's to the point where I'll tell you from my side, my brain sort of works on my writing a lot with the books I'd love to write and the ones currently writing. And this would be a piece that I would want to bring into a book. I think it would be a fascinating add to the mythology.
Definitely a twist.
That's a twist. All right. So I love this story. So let's go to our next one.
Okay.
This one will have a bit of humor. I can already see it from the title. An extra sock appeared.
Oh.
Okay. So for those of you out there,
socks, don't we?
Socks. I don't know what happens to them, but they have their own lives. It's almost like they have their own world. We find extra socks. We lose socks. Socks appear places.
The socks universe.
The socks universe.
Yes.
So let's see the story.
Okay.
So last year, I bought my daughter some back-to-school essentials for kindergarten. A little girl. Okay. I had bought her some ankle socks that were in a pack of 8. All different colors with positive says on them. Each of the rims with socks. That's very cute. That's the part that goes around the ankle. For example, superstar, I'm awesome, strong, smiley face, etc. It's very cute. Very nice. We probably would end up doing the same thing. So now a year later, she doesn't wear them as much as she's grown, and it's too cold at night. But she wore a pair of socks the other day, and when I was doing laundry, I came across the pair she wore. It was the dark purple ones with the word strong on them. I found them together and finished the laundry. At the end of the pile was another dark purple sock that said strong.
Oh, wow.
So now it's 3 of the same socks.
And they're different colors and say different things. So it's not like you can confuse them.
Correct. Yeah. It's not like we had duplicates within the same set. And I cannot for the life of me figure this out. There's never been more than 1 pair of each of the matching socks. I am tripping.
Someone out there is missing a sock that says strong and it's purple.
That's the part you picked up on? I'm thinking, how does a third sock appear that's identical to the other 2? And there's only supposed to be 2.
It didn't like its previous owners, so it jumped the time portal and came to her. I don't know. And
I love this.
This is a year later after she got it. There's no way a third one can just appear. A year later.
No, I almost feel like there has to be an explanation that's rational for this.
How do you rationalize that, though? That she's been using it for a year, and that's time she's packing it away. She's washed them. Oh, and hey, here's the third one, which Couldn't have been sitting there for a year.
So, I mean, I can maybe look at an explanation, but
I'd love to hear it. What's the explanation you have?
Well, it's not like a sock.
I think mine is very rational.
There is no teleporting of a sock.
Objects teleport or move.
Well, they can.
Okay.
So, I mean, I'm not saying that you couldn't have that, but the question is, could there be a plausible explanation? So there's a part of me that wants to ask that question first before I jump into the teleporting of the sock option.
Okay. So what's your thoughts then?
So here's my thoughts. Mm-hmm. She liked the set, and maybe she has a friend at school that liked the set too. And they
took the sock off of her foot and gave it to a friend to take home.
No, I don't think it would have necessarily been that.
Okay.
But would it be possible? I mean, you'd have to obviously ask the daughter, right? I mean, she's in kindergarten, so it's a little bit harder to do. But you could still ask. It's like, well, did your friend have a sock like this, or socks like this? And the answer might be yes.
Okay.
And then maybe they did something.
I'll give
funny.
it to you. That seems like it seems like a strange thing for a child to do. It doesn't serve the child.
No, it doesn't. But children could do something that might seem a little odd to a parent, right?
Okay.
I mean, I think so. That's the only. I'm going to try to figure out a scientific explanation other than the teleporting of the sock concept. Although this is very cute, and it would throw me off completely.
Items appear in different places. Just because it's a sock, I don't think it's.
Now, in the sock universe. The usual is the socks disappear. They show up somewhere else, in places you didn't expect.
Normally they disappear. They don't appear.
Not an extra
and
one.
multiply.
And multiply. So I have to admit, I mean, that is highly funny to me because you're doing something that you wouldn't ordinarily see.
Who would have known we're giving the spotlight to socks?
Yeah, I think so too. So I think that's a fun one. I don't know how to do this. We do have a couple comments though. So my husband always did the laundry in our house, and one day a pair of men's brief in the style he wore, but in a size too large for him, turned up in the wash. He is not a suspicious sort of person, so we just laughed about it. But the rightful owner was never found. Laundry seems to be a popular medium for object switching dimensions.
Yeah, the different size. I don't know how that's possible.
You know what it is? It's the spinning of the washing machine. It opens up the wormholes. Oh. And then it teleports right through there.
You're getting spicy now. That sounds interesting.
It's funny.
Who thinks that's a possible solution to this?
Well, I think it's kind of funny to see something like that as an answer, but
maybe your logic could be it, but
I mean that would be kind of funny too. I mean, if you were in a laundromat, I would say that's okay. Somebody left something in where you got the laundry, but if it's in your home and you find something else,
remember the mom said when she washed them, there was only 2 in there when she threw them in. Yes,
that's right. I mean, she saw both of them and she put them in. And
okay, so it's only when she was pulling it out.
She found the third one.
There was a third one.
So that's what makes it kind of funny. The extra briefs here, a little strange. Not really sure how to explain that one either. But that's an interesting comment. Somebody else. So apparently this is not a unique phenomenon.
But the assumption no one's cheating, I hope.
Well, she said not so suspicious,
the husband is suspicious. Okay.
He's not suspicious.
Not suspicious.
So it's interesting to see that. But I do like this one. So that's a fun one because it's cute. And it's playful.
Well, the fact that you have a very specific word and color combined to it, that there's no way it could be mixed up with something else, adds to how interesting that is.
I do. I agree.
Okay.
All right. Here's our final one. This one's a little bit longer, but it seems very interesting too. So again, it's where the ordinary starts becoming a little bit more extraordinary, which we should all have this in our lives. Mm-hmm. So. This one is called My Wireless Earbuds Duplicated in My Hand on the Bus, then Vanished Minutes Later. Okay.
Duplicate. Oh, so he could have had 2 pairs, but he lost one that never existed.
Right.
Okay.
So let's see the story. So, hey, everyone. I have occasionally lurked this sub.
The sub is, so it's like a sub community.
No, I know. I figured as much. So it's interesting you use the word lurk, though. lurked in the sub, but I never thought I was going to post anything here. I'm a firm materialist and a huge skeptic by nature. Okay, this is nice setting the framework for this. So what happened to me yesterday has left me completely baffled. I need to see if anyone has experienced something similar or can offer an explanation I haven't considered. So this person already has a structure of the world around them set, and this does not fit with it.
And this is making them doubt that. Okay.
First, some context to rule out the obvious. I wasn't sleeping, drowsy, or under the influence of anything. I was 100% awake on my bus ride home. I was actively listening to some cool punk music. Okay, got that down. I would even tell you which songs I listened to. And I was paying close attention because my stop was coming up. Okay, so he's giving you.
He's very aware of his surroundings. He's got nothing to mentally affect him.
Right, and he's in a heightened kind of state because obviously you're not falling asleep to punk music, and he's looking for his stop coming up. So. I use wireless earbuds, the kind in the charging case. I only own one pair. I have never owned a second pair. This is all caps. This is a crucial point. So here's setting up the framework for the science on this. As I approached my stop, I took the earbuds out of my ears and pulled the charging case from my bag to put them away. I opened the case and immediately froze in confusion. There was already a pair of earbuds inside. No need to. They already teleported themselves into.
Maybe he saw the future at Pennyworth.
I don't know. I looked down at my other hand where I was definitely holding the pair I'd just taken out of my ears. And now I was holding two identical pairs of earbuds, 4 earbuds in total. So
I have no words.
My first thought was, my brain is being silly. I must have already put them away and forgotten. I was very confused and I started double check and triple check. So that's the first thing our mind does when we don't quite see how it all fits together. We want to look at something else as an explanation. I looked back and forth between the pairs. This is almost comical at this point. I can just imagine him kind of staring at them in my hand. And the pair in the case.
He's making this feel like a very long moment.
It is well, I think for him, it slowed down quite a bit. They were both there simultaneously. I reached into the case and physically touched the earbuds nestled inside. I closed the case, then I opened it up. Yes, they were still there. I picked one up, and when I picked it up to put it back in a case, a tiny blue charging light lit up, just like it always does. And I heard the soft click of the earbuds being placed in the case. So the case was definitely recognizing the charging of a real physical pair of earbuds. He's really going down every single detail. So at this point, I had to make a decision. I had my original pair in one hand and a fully functional new pair in the occupied case. So I zipped the case back into my bag. I saw the charging light even after I placed it in my bag and stuffed the original pair in my pockets. So I was stunned. So I almost missed my stop. So he's trying to figure this out and his stop's coming up. The weirdness wouldn't let me go. I stopped to get a sandwich, and while I was waiting, I had to check again. So I was so confused about how I could possibly have another pair of identical earphones. So I took the case of my bag and opened it again. It was empty.
Gone. Oh, wow.
The extra pair was gone, just like that. The case I had seen with my own eyes containing a pair of earbuds that I had touched and triggered with a charging light was now utterly empty. All I had was the original pair, still sitting in my pocket, so I put them back in the case where they belonged, and that was that. Back to one pair.
Oh, wow.
All right, there's a little bit more to go. So I started thinking about what happened, and I tried to come up with an explanation. I can only find 2 plausible explanations. This person's really thought this through. I was either hallucinating in a way that I never did before, or I just witnessed something impossible. Doesn't sound like he's a hallucination.
There's a lot of hallucinating if you work through all the logistics of
he did. Yeah, so
literally pulling them out, checking them. No, he witnessed something clearly not impossible.
Right. So I wasn't sleeping or stressed or under the influence. He's been very clear about this. The moment I saw the duplicate, my eyes popped out and I got hyper aware and I was very confused. Yeah, that would of course do that. I immediately thought, WTF, what is happening? So I did check multiple times. I saw it, I felt it, I heard it. So it was either some strange multisensory hallucination in a vivid and awake state triggered by nothing, or something truly strange. I'm leaning towards the first explanation, but it feels deeply unsatisfying because nothing about my day has ever had something similar to this. So what do you guys think? I know that duplicating earbuds aren't the most thrilling mysteries out there, but this is the first time in my life I've ever encountered something that I have no explanation for. Has anyone ever held a duplicate of an object only for it to vanish?
Wow. Okay. No, I have not.
No, and I haven't either. But this would be a fascinating kind of double take. No pun intended, right? I mean,
I highly doubt someone would have put their exact identical earbuds in his case.
Now, my first thought, though, at the time was, since we don't know where he was coming from, but I think he would have added to the story since he's so detailed, was he sitting somewhere and he absolutely grabbed another set that was someone else's?
Yes.
That would have been probably
He didn't mention anyone being around him.
No, and I think he would have. I think this will be this, since this person's really very detail oriented and looking for an explanation that doesn't fit the impossible, but fits what's possible. That would have been the first thing. Like, he sat across somebody else, when he got up, he was moving in a hurry to catch his bus. Therefore, he grabbed the other case. The other case had,
maybe,
but it was empty. That's the thing.
Because he was thinking about he had to put his earbuds back in the case before he stopped, because he was anticipating it. He somehow materialized having another set that was already present in the case, even though he had these other ones. That's some awesome superpowers.
So are we talking about a superhero here?
No, not a superhero. There's nothing superhero about these earbuds, but definitely...
we need to get the brand of these earbuds. This is kind of fun. We should get a set too. Everyone should have one of these. I don't have a good explanation for him because he or she is very, very detail oriented. But I do think that there's something very interesting about this. The only part I would have done, but I think it would have been strange to a person next to me on the bus, is I would have probably looked at them and says, there are 2 earbuds in here. The other person would have looked at you and said, yes, are you going crazy? But it would have had a secondary confirmation, right? That something like this was happening. Mm-hmm. But taking at face value how much he spent the time on this, and I do believe him. I mean, we're obviously, if you're on a bus or a train and you're going to get to your stop, you're much more aware where you need to be. You're not like dozing off, right? The fact that he's listening to music, he's still not falling asleep. I mean, there's so many things that he's actually ruled out that I really do like the way he wrote this. But the explanation is either I'm going crazy or something impossible has happened. And I'm leaning towards...
That's a very vivid hallucination to have.
It would be.
Especially if you feel very, very consciously present, to be able to shuffle through trying to figure out if these are real, which this person did do.
But it's also a very mundane object for it to happen, right? So I think the socks was a very interesting one because, again, that's a very mundane object. The diary was very personal, so there's a lot of emotion with that. So in all these stories that we've seen, and then, of course, the wife not walking up, but walking up to the house would be another really big one. But the earbuds, it's the ordinary objects that I think make this very intriguing that something like this would happen.
Which clearly aren't very ordinary if they're moving around and appearing.
Correct. So maybe he got the super set of earbuds that's really some future technology or a glitch in the matrix. That would be their option.
Yeah, like a slip in time. I don't know. I don't know how it would have appeared in his box.
So I love these stories. And I mean, for our audience,
someone earbuds disappeared in the time that he had it.
Well, it's assuming that they're not like duplicating each other, right?
Duplicating or someone else's set appearing, and it's appearing in his box, and then someone lost theirs, and then they switch back.
So one of the things that's interesting to me, just from a science point of view, is like quantum theory. And this is the concept that there's an occurrence can happen here and it can occur somewhere else at exactly the same time. So it's a lot more than just that, obviously. But so it makes me think about how you can talk about teleporting and connections across the universe and everything else. I don't think it come in the form of earbuds, but it almost feels like in this case it manifested its way in this kind of a way to do it. We absolutely love these stories because the unexplained is
It's so exciting to think that there's so much more out there rather than turning around and saying, it's impossible. So it's like, why would it be impossible? Just because you say it is? You don't know that.
And I think that's probably the best way to look at this. Don't assume the impossible if it's going to be there. I think you have to turn around and say that possible is always going to be, we know, within reach for us. And I love the fact that we open our minds. We get a chance to see something that we would have never seen before, and it will
completely change your world. That's for sure.
Well, I think it did for at least 5 of these stories.
For a skeptic to turn around and say, "Okay, I think I just witnessed something that I would have considered impossible," and now you're questioning, I don't know, the laws of physics and science and how this is even possible. Good for him or her.
Yeah.
I think that's actually great. I would love to experience something like that. Can you imagine the amount of times you'd be replaying that moment in your head to try?
I think essentially it would never go away. I think this would be something that would be a lifetime memory, and you would be open to something else and looking for something else.
And therefore, I think it will present itself if you're more and more open every single time.
No, I can say that each of these stories to me makes me want to go find these individuals who experience them.
Love to have conversations
with them. Yes. So if you know of anything that's happened to yourself, or you're aware of someone that has a story that they're willing to share, we would love to learn more and
as
share
ordinary
more
as the object is, I think it's very easy to shut down a possible story and event that's happened because it's a sock or it's earbuds. But definitely, we'd love to hear it. We want to get to the point where we're able to share our viewers' stories and experiences.
Yes,
because as we're sharing our own, we're obviously finding people that have gone through all the effort of telling us stories on Reddit or somewhere on the internet, and we're sharing it with you. But hey, if you want one of your stories being featured, we'd love to do viewer stories as well.
Yeah, and do keep your mind open. I think the unexplained is an area that we absolutely love. And I think there's a big group of people out there that are looking for something that might seem a little odd, a little strange, and a little impossible.
It's a new year.
It's the new year. Let's start it off with a little bit of the unexplained. We'll come back to this topic again because we absolutely love it and we love to share more. But I think, as Savannah said, let's get something from you guys too, and let us share your stories. We would love to do it.
Oh, thank you. It's amazing that we slipped through time to the end of this video. Just like that.
It just went right by. So
it's like we lost an hour and didn't even know it.
And we shared it with you.
Okay. Everyone, thank you so much for joining us. Until next time. Bye.
And have a great new year.